Well, here we go into the finals for the $14,000 first prize money. The losers will receive $10,000 in our great and greatest tournament here. And Tom Hennessey, one of the great team bowlers, will start it off. He's aching. He's really hurting, Dave Davis.
He sure is. He pulled a hamstring in his left leg, and you can see him. He's going to fall off balance a little bit a lot of times in this match.
He left the 10th, and I kind of thought when he delivered the ball, he dropped it a little bit. Didn't quite get it out there.
I think he's favoring that leg a little bit. You know, he's got a lot of weight coming down that leg at the line, and he's definitely hurting quite a bit.
And so it is Tom Hennessey and Earl Anthony against Joe Joseph and Tommy Hudson. And Hennessey going after the 10-pin, carries it for a spare in the opening frame. Watch the style of Hennessey. He is a lot like Joe Joseph, wouldn't you say?
All right, he rocks back and forth, really smooth and easy. Just lets the ball roll off of his hand.
And now we'll see Joe Joseph. We'll see if he can give his team the same kind of a start he gave in the other two winning efforts.
The old smoothie.
High. And a break.
Yes,
Left to 6-10. So it kind of looks slow, like both teams will end up with a spare. A lot of other bowlers were in this tournament, 28 in all, some of whom we haven't mentioned.
Right, you know, 7th were Hoover and Salvino. 8th, Bob Strampy, Dick Weber. Johnny King and Johnny Petraglia finished 9th. And Johnny Petraglia was high pinfall this week. Eddie Labansky, Eddie Lobb, 10th.
Uh-oh. There's an open for them and an opening for Earl Anthony, and don't give him many.
All right, that's the first chink in their armor that we've seen today, I'll tell you. They've really been bowling well. In fact, they're averaging 231.
This is the only left-hander that we had in our finals, and he throws the ball harder than anybody else.
Right, he's having to throw the ball harder today than anybody else. The lanes are hooking a little more, and I know Earl doesn't like to throw it too hard.
He let up a little bit on that one from what we've been watching, but he didn't quite carry as he left the 6-pin.
Right, you can see why the speed is going to have to stay up for Earl today. That ball's hooking quite a bit, and that's not the kind of shot that he likes to throw.
Who are some of the others in the tournament?
Well, Harry Smith and I finished 11th, and Buddy Bomar, Jimmy Certain 12th. A lot of speeding. See Earl lift that ball really hard.
And there is the second mark, both spares for Hennessey Anthony. I wonder if these two ever thought they'd be bowling together.
I don't know. I know that Tommy was so nervous the last 2 days bowling this thing with Earl that he didn't sleep at all.
Tommy Hudson will try to pick up his partner here, and that's what this doubles competition is all about. Joe Joseph opened in the first frame, and Tommy Hudson got that ball out there with plenty of speed and failed to carry the 4-7. So it doesn't look like we're going to have the kind of scores that we've been having, because Joseph and Hudson have been averaging, what, 231?
Yes, they shot 695 the first 3 games. I think that lane 32 is starting to break down a little bit. When we call it breaking down, the lane is hooking a lot more than it was when we started the telecast today.
Hudson covers both pins. He and his teammate Joe Joseph are down by 10. Tom Hennessey will be working on a spare and looking for the first strike for his duo.
We'll see if that pulled hamstring that Tommy's bowling with today bothers him on his finish here. He seems to be falling off balance a little bit. Yes, he did again there.
He's right on the head pin and left the 6-pin.
Right, that you know, that falling off balance is not the way Tommy Hennessey bowls. He's always been so smooth and so solid at the line, and now he's having to alter that delivery a little bit, and it may cause him a few wild shots today.
He always did bowl, by the way, with his shirt tail hanging out. He always gives you that little rocking motion when he takes off. And that's the third spare for his team, and they're ahead by 9 pins at the moment.
You can see the tension registered on Tommy's face. He is really nervous, but he's bowling awfully well.
I wonder if Joe Joseph is getting a little weary. Not just these games he's bowled today, but all of the action all week.
It's quite possible, Jack, but I don't know. The adrenaline flow is so strong right now.
Right over that second arrow and up to the head pin, but didn't carry.
Right, now that's the adjustment that the mind makes. Maybe not the body, but the mind makes an adjustment off of the shot, the first frame, when he threw the ball into the nose.
This is a $70,000 tournament with Brunswick putting it together. And what a job they've done at running this tournament, as they always have done.
Oh, the feeling between the players this week was just tremendous. We really enjoyed ourselves this week because Brunswick put on such a tremendous program for us.
Is this the first strike of this match? Yep.
Tommy dropped that ball a little bit. You could see him fall off balance, and in order to keep from pulling it when he does fall off balance, he's got to let the ball go a little bit early, and you can see it come off very quickly. Ball delayed, and then just really blew the 5 apart.
Joe Joseph bowling in the 4th frame. Needs a strike to match him because he and his teammate are down by 12 pins. Got that one out there well, but not good enough.
He definitely made a little adjustment on that lane. You could see him when he was getting up on the approach. He looked down, he moved his feet to the left just a little bit, and it was enough to get the ball light.
Dave Davis, either you're right that the lanes are breaking down a little bit, or I'm right that Joe Joseph might be becoming a little weary, or a combination of the two.
Yeah, one of us is right.
Yeah, because the strikes just haven't been coming for them as they were previously when they averaged 231.
But Joe and Tommy have a lot of heart, and they're going to be in there when it's close to the end.
They're down by 13 pins after the 4th frame. Talking about Joe Joseph and Tommy Hudson and Hennessey and Anthony have a strike up. We'll be back in a minute. Anthony as he bowls in the 5th frame. Hennessey struck in the 4th. Anthony with a lot of speed comes up with a split. That's the first split of this match, and they had been leading by 13 pins. That might make this one just about even.
Right, and you know, we said earlier when Earl threw his first shot and it went high left a 6-pin that he's going to have to use a lot of speed because the lanes on the left side today are hooking quite a bit.
You expect that split to pop up there? I didn't.
No, I really didn't. You don't see Earl Anthony leave very many. He's a very accurate player, and since he's had his heart attack, he's lost 35 pounds, and he's actually throwing better shots than he did before.
So he goes for the 2-pin count. The lead now for Anthony and Hennessey is only 1 pin. Tommy Hudson comes up, trying to get the first strike for himself and his partner. He had his mind made up. He was going to attack it.
He sure did. He threw that ball as pure as you can throw one. It just couldn't have been a better shot when they had to get it going. Might give Joe Joseph a little incentive, get that adrenaline flow up there again.
Well, let's see if that split on the last delivery bothers Earl Anthony at all here.
He made a little move with his feet on the lane. He moved a few boards to the right to get a little more swing into the ball.
Still ahead by 1 pin. A strike. A typical Anthony strike.
All right, a little delay kick on the 7 there, and down they go. Now, look how straight his swing is staying here. You can see that good speed, and watch the 4-pin kick that 7 out of there.
You know, you would expect him to finish strongly here because he is the only left-hander.
I wish I were out there with him, I can tell you that.
Tommy Hudson looking for double. Bowling in the 6th frame.
The power that Tommy Hudson had on that ball there was just almost like Mark Roth. That ball came from right field.
And that puts him up by 9. Puts him up by 9 pins through the 6th frame with Joe Joseph and Tommy Hudson on top as a result of this delivery.
The ball finishes so far from the edge. Look how much hook there was the last few boards.
He started it way out.
Oh, that thing came back.
Now Hennessey looking for a double, bowling in the 7th frame. Working on a strike, and on the head pin leaves the 6-10. Shaking his head. So Earl Anthony, who's going to finish out this game, knows it's going to be pretty much in his hands.
All right, Tommy's going to have to get Earl set up on the next shot in the 8th frame, which will be Tommy's last this game, and he's going to have to get a strike in that 8th frame so Earl can finish with him.
And before that, he's going to have to get the 6-10 right here. It would be disastrous if he missed it, but he didn't.
I almost wanted to say, as accurate as Tommy is, he very rarely misses a spare, but I said that about Mark Roth before, and he missed one.
Hennessey and Anthony are down by 9 pins.
It's a nice, easy delivery. Fall off balance from that leg bother him a little bit.
And Joe Joseph has a double up, looking for 3 in a row. Bowling here in the 7th frame. Come on, Joe, yells the crowd. He's on the head pin, but he carried it.
You'll see a smile on Joe Joseph's face now.
Working on a spare, bowling in the 8th frame. Hennessey gets it in there and carried it. Joe Joseph and his partner are ahead by 19 pins right now, trying to make it 4 in a row. Bowling in the 8th frame, and this could be a cruncher. This is the last frame for Joseph. Good strike.
Joe Joseph's ball is not known for the power, but today he is so cranked up, he is just blowing those pins apart.
Well, now, here's Mr. Anthony in the 9th frame. Boy, this is fun. The great and the greatest, and they're going to do it again next year.
Well, there is no choice now. Earl Anthony must strike on this shot or the game is over.
It's the kind of pressure he thrives on. Can he get it in there? Yep. Yep. And Tom Hennessey says, "That a way to go." And a lot of others are rooting for them here. And now the 9th frame for Tommy Hudson. He and his teammate Joe Joseph are ahead by 19 pins. Can't predict the outcome of this yet.
Boy, you sure can't. Tommy can almost close out the match with this strike here.
He didn't let up. He put a lot on that ball. He got a strike. Almost closing it out.
You know, you can see how hard Tommy Hudson was working for his partner Joe Joseph and vice versa this match. I'll tell you, this great and greatest tournament has just been a thrill to watch all week.
29 pins down. Earl Anthony gets up and he has to strike again. He's in the 10th frame.
Earl can strike out and get the match within 9 pins, and then they will just wait and see.
He's got to strike again. Earl Anthony didn't do it, and that does it.
No, Earl wasn't too happy with that shot. You could see the ball was going to go high from the time he let go, but the lanes are hooking just a little bit more than he likes.
I was reading the lips of Tommy Hudson. He looked over at his partner, Joe Joseph, and he said, "We won." What did they win? $14,000, $7,000 each. Anthony gets the spare. There's only one more roll remaining in this beautiful tournament out here in Las Vegas. Boy, it was great to see Buzz Fazio and Ed Lubansky and
Buddy
Bomar,
Joe Norris, all the great ones. For me, the concentration was impossible this week. I kept watching everybody bowl but myself.
And the final count for Hennessey and Anthony, 195, and it wasn't good enough to win it because Hennessey started to remember that he got the strike in the 8th frame for Hudson to pick it up on. Now he'll try to strike it out and pour on the total.
Well, they shot under their average for a change. They were only going to shoot 220-something this game.
Yeah, they went in 231 average, but they bowled well, and they deserve the prize. They can come out with 224. And it'll be a happy duo receiving the beautiful trophy. Where do you see the trophy that's going to be presented here? Spare in the 10th frame. Got to finish it out, even though we have concluded that Hudson and Joseph win it.
Right, and we talk about on the PBA Tour how much you wear out after bowling 4 games on a show. And you can imagine at 50-plus years old how Joe Joseph feels right now. Elated and exhausted at the same time.
And Hudson finished it in style, and a standing ovation from the crowd here at the Showboat Lanes in Las Vegas. The first annual Great and Greatest Tournament. Look at that hug.